Come on in, grab a seat. I was just getting ready to reiterate a point, and you guys walked right in, which is good. The point was to preserve hip-hop. What was the preservation? We were talking about the meaning of the book, the meaning of the gospel of hip-hop, why it exists. Whoever has the book, let them feel it in their hand. We have a mock copy, just so you can thumb through it and feel it. This, let me get into that. 2 ways to preserve hip-hop. Why do I only say 2? Of course, there's more ways to preserve hip-hop, but I'm only going to talk about 2, and I'm probably going to say it again at another time. And one of the reasons also why you're listening to this, think of your own explanation of this very point as well. Think about how you would articulate it yourself. In 1994, we had a meeting at the Schomburg Center in Harlem, 135th Street. The Gospel of Hip Hop, which is the same book that this is just a Kinko's copy of it. There's a part in this book, the 13th Overstanding, is a transcription in writing of the meeting of 1994. We had a meeting in 1994 and we recorded the whole meeting. It was like 6 hours. This Gospel of Hip Hop transcribes about the first 2 hours of the meeting, because most of what we needed to get done was done in the first 2 hours. The other part was argument about how and what and where, which was important, but what we wanted to get done, we got done in the first 2 hours, which was to declare hip-hop a culture. Back in the days, that was blasphemous. Hip-hop ain't no culture, it's just music. And they were right. The critics were correct. The problem was that we are what is called civilization builders. No, it wasn't a civilization there before, but there is one there now. And so we had to fight past the academics that said hip-hop cannot be a culture because you can't actually be hip-hop. Because they said you can't be jazz, you can't be rock and roll. And so we responded by saying hip-hop is not even music, rap is. You can be hip-hop. And then we went into it. And this is where most of the books that's on the market now discuss this. And like I said, it took 10 years of I am hip-hop. Rap is something we do, hip-hop is something we live. We are not just doing hip-hop, we are hip-hop. All of that, 10 years of that. 10 years of that. Now hip-hop is ready to admit that it is a culture. The 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds today are growing up in the backdrop of hip-hop culture. Like they say off the mouth. Hip-hop culture. That took 10 years to do. Now we're claiming that hip-hop has divinity. Now we're claiming that you can live this culture and actually meet God on the way. And so people are afraid of that. People are, what the hell is Chris talking about? And what is that about? Like, what are you saying? And what we're saying is very explicit. Number one, hip-hop is divine. Now, whether you want to call it a religion or not is up to you. I'm not even sure what a religion is. To be honest, no one is. No scholar is. We all debate it. We don't even know what it is. But like I said, it's not our place to declare hip-hop a religion. It's our children's place to say that if we are worthy of the term. The fathers and mothers are putting forward a gospel. If our children accept it, it'll become a religion. If our children say this is bullshit, it's over. It was just a good book, and it was great. And if you got a copy, you got it, and it was all good, and this is what we were trying to do in the 90s and 2000 and so on. And that's it. And that would be good too, because we would at least learn hip-hop isn't a religion. It isn't. It's not that. We know it now. And those who have the gospel just have it, and we'll study amongst ourselves, and we'll keep it at that. But what if hip hop says, nah, we get it? What if Japan says, I need to transcribe this in Japanese, Latino, I don't have to go there? What if the culture says, no, we feeling this, and we can actually meet God along the way? And some scholars say, but wait a minute, the gospel says this and this, but it doesn't say this, this, and this. Others start writing books. Others start coming up with views. And suddenly, we have an entirely different market. Like, imagine, spirituality in the United States is a $6 billion industry. Hip-hop is only tapped into music. Why? Let's hit these spiritual cats up too. For what reason? Why are we stuck in music? For what reason? There's no reason other than our own limited view of ourselves. So we realized this in 1994. And Africa Bambaataa gave permission for this. Her, Flash, Crazy Legs. I asked for the permission out of respect. Because Bam was doing it way before us. You know, saying hip hop is a culture, and peace, love, unity, having fun, and the infinity lessons, and all that. Bam been doing it since '74. I picked up where he didn't even left off. I just picked up the baton, and I said, okay, let's go further with it now. 2 ways to preserve hip hop. 1, the artifacts. Cool Herc's turntables, Grandmaster Flash's jacket, Run DMC's hat, the first turntable, LL's mic. These are ways to preserve hip hop. This is how the Smithsonian is doing it. This is how other hip hop museums are doing it. They're doing it by way of artifacts, collecting goods, old Source magazine articles, photos, flyers, collection of flyers. That's a legitimate way to preserve hip hop, and it is. The artifacts. But hip hop is not a physical thing. Hip hop is an idea. This is what changes our preservation. You know, we take a detour from everybody else in the world. Hip hop is a shared idea. You can't touch it. You can't drink it. You can't wear it. You can't go to it. Yet we all know it. That right there is our genius. That's it. That one thing, that hip hop is actually understood psychically. The point is, where does hip hop come from? If it's in your mind, and the same thought is in my mind, you see it your way, I see it my way, but it's the same thing. It has rules, it has tradition, it has form, we know what we're talking about. But the thing we're talking about is nowhere in physical reality, it's nowhere on earth. So how do you preserve an idea, not an artifact? The way you preserve an idea is on the religion side. Spirit side, metaphysical side, philosophical side, that side. We're dealing with ideas, intangibles. These hands can't grab hip hop. There's another hand that can grab it, manipulate it, deal with it, and we do it every day. We rhyme, grab, break. We're drawing on that energy and manipulating it to whatever we want it to be. Well, now our children need to know that. They need to know that. They need to know that. They need to know how to manipulate the energy. The rap music industry has forgotten about it. They don't know how to do it.
They need a baptism.
They need a baptism.
Write it down.
I'm not even. Okay, it's recorded.